Here's the weird thing. I talk to people all the time and I tell them, if you think that porn addiction is just porn addiction, you got another thought coming because porn addiction is not just porn addiction. If you want to find out one of the biggest reasons why you will not stop doing porn, I can talk to you. This is your life. This is your life. Right now is your life. Life is about right now. Live and live are spelled the same way. In order to live, you must be live. Right now. The past does not equal the future unless you give the past permission. You are the sum total of your dominant thoughts and decisions. Yes, you are. So, a little birdie told me that you have an out of control sexual behavior of some sort. Pornography, masturbation, vanitization, or some kind of unhealthy sexual behavior. A little birdie also told me that it's starting to get the best of you. And it's not okay anymore. That's good news. It not being okay. Because that's the beginning how you can change it. We're going to have an adult, grown folk conversation about behaviors, attitudes, decisions, choices, actions to become healthy. Becoming healthy is a journey. It's not a one and done. It's not like the sexual addiction BS that you do where you just get all excited, you do this, and then you blast one. It requires a lot more work than that. It's strategic. It's taking steps. It's reflection. It's looking inside. It's being introspective. It's deciding that you want a better life for yourself. That's what this is about. My name is Joseph F. Price. They call me Joey P. I'm going to be your host in this journey. I'm going to be your partner in this dance. We're going to do this together. We're going to become better people together. You are going to have sexual mastery. You are going to have mastery in your life. Yes, you are. You're going to be a better person. You're going to be somebody that you can be proud of. You're going to be somebody that even your mama can be proud. But it's not going to come free. You're going to have to do some work. You're going to have to do some reflection. I'm going to give you some tools. I'm not going to do it all on my own. I'll bring some guests. They'll give you the good stuff. But here's what you got to do. Take this as a journey that you get better each and every day. A journey that we don't stop until we figured out how to do it and we become invincible. Yeah. We can become invincible to our pornography act, sexual behaviors, and unhealthy other addictions. You just got to understand how it works. You got to understand how your mind is making you its bitch. Stop the self bitching, y'all. Stop the self bitching. Your mind. So this work that we're going to do, it's about neutralizing that and you becoming the victor. You becoming the master. You becoming the man that you're supposed to be. That's what I'm talking about. So if that's something that's interesting you, if that's something that you want to do, then let's do that together. It ain't a one and done. It's a journey. So let's begin. Joseph F. Price in the house. Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Good evening, everybody.
good day, everybody. Whatever the appropriate one would be for you. So happy to have you here today. Really excited for what's going to happen. I got up rather early this morning, about, I don't know, about 5 or 6 hours ago, and prepared a few podcasts and some other stuff. I have this like rule nowadays that if I wake up past a certain hour, like, in other words, if I normally wake up like at 6 a.m. and if I wake up like past 4:30 or 4 o'clock, I just go ahead and get up. None of that just sitting in the bed tossing. I read me a couple chapters in a book and this and that and the other. So I got a lot of stuff to get done already. So I'm well prepared and pretty excited about the dance and such that we're going to do here. But before we get into the dance, I'm going to tell you something that took me like 40 years to understand. And I think I really understood it like a couple weeks ago, to a major understand place. There's one thing where you kind of get it intellectually, and there's one thing where you really get it, where you like really know it. And then there's that part where it gets inside of you. And then it's that part when it gets really all inside of your soul. And then perhaps beyond that, where it gets to every part of you. So my learning got to that deeper level on this particular subject. And it was a particular subject that pertained to me because in my life, naturally, I achieved it well. And then at some point in my life, it didn't happen so much naturally, but I learned how to do it or create it for myself. And then I forgot to do it sometimes. And then outcomes didn't happen. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about the state. I'm talking about the state of your mind, because the state of your mind determines what kind of decisions that you make. And obviously, in men's health, we have a series of not making good decisions, and especially in recovery and trying to transform, obviously, we need to learn how to make better qualities of decisions. One of the things I find is that some people are blaming the quality of their decision perhaps on their intellect, when in fact it just might be the quality of their state. I often tell people, be careful about the decisions that you make in a bad state, because like a bad state is like bad soil. How can you get something good out of a bad state when you have bad soil? So what you need to do is you need to find yourself a happy song out there somewhere that you play every day on a regular basis. You need to train, that you can actually, a song that you can actually get yourself activated. Like every time you hear that song, like bam, it gets you, boom, it gets you, boom, it gets you, and it gets you moving. And I know that there's a lot of wonderful Christian songs out there that get you moving, and I like those too. But sometimes they get me into the spirit that, maybe I lose my focus. So whatever your song is, and personally, I choose, I like EDM, electronic daisy music, or techno music. And this happens to be my activation song. Eye of the Tiger was for years. I also like this song from a gospel group called Elevations. You are the only one king That's one of my activation songs. I mix them up. Also, that's another thing that you should have in your morning routine is a playlist that serves you. So anyway, here's my activation song because it activates me and it gives me a lot of energy. And maybe it'll bring my energy up in this podcast. So that's what I want to share with you. And this is this is a no copyright song, so it's fine that it's actually here because I can use it. It's a Third Dimension called "Take Your Place." It's my song, boy. It's my jam. Then you start clapping to it. Get happy. Take a minute for yourself every day. Get yourself excited. Get yourself moving. You're worth it. You ever been to one of them Tony Robbins concerts? They like this music. Tony Robbins seminars, right? They have you doing like this. Woo! You got to remember, action is movement. You get in a good state of mind, you learn. You're in a bad state of mind, you ignore. Best thing you can do for yourself is get in a good state. Best thing you can do to get in a good state is to move. Change your physiology, change your language, and change what you focus on, and you change your state every single time. Change your body, change your language, and change your focus, and your state changes every single time. Change your body, change your language, change your focus, and your state changes every single time. Yeah! Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, that one gets me moving. And the funny thing is, you get to see it, and I'll get to see it when I run the tape, because I'm sure you've seen a state change, which is exactly what I wanted you to see. Which for me, I'm going to have to wait until this is done to see it, because those state changes are like magnificent. And I didn't mean to do that, but the thing is, excuse me for that. I know that I can see it a little bit on the camera, but when you see those state changes on people, it's magnificent. And I want you to learn how to shift your state. Now, I went from fantastic to super fantastic. So it was just like I went up another notch, which is exactly, what I would want to do, is to bring you everything that I possibly can. Because a lot of times in life, it's just that 1 degree that you're looking for. That 1 degree is what's going to make all of the difference in the world. So in other words, I'm in Orlando now, and if I was in a plane and my intention was San Diego and I was off maybe a degree, I'd end up in Portland somewhere. So yeah, it's those little changes. If I'm trying to boil water to get power, and the water sits at 211, it can sit at 211 all day. I ain't got nothing. And then it's just that little change to 212, which is where it boils, obviously, and then 213 and 214, just 3 degrees difference. And all of a sudden you got power. All of a sudden you can change the world. So sometimes you may not know that you're just that far away from a difference. And some of that's the states changes, and some of that's taking out, certain habits, and some of that's taking out little things that maybe you're convincing yourself that they don't matter. So I didn't come to talk about the state, but I did talk about the state for the first couple of minutes. But now, really, what I came to talk about was one of the first components of this particular journey, and that is your phone use. Because most people today, if you have a pornography issue, you also have a phone issue. There's no such thing as one without the other. You don't have a pornography issue without having a phone disorder. They just don't go. They kind of go hand in hand. So let me set this up, and then we're probably going to cut it off after we set it up. If you don't care about sets up, you probably can move on to the next one, because I'm going to set it up and then just cut it off right about there. Now, I'm not going to do that. I think I got enough time to do some pieces. So I'll get started, and then the bulk of it will be on the next one. If you're impatient, I don't think you're going to really succeed at quitting porn in the next year. But if you're impatient, go to the next one. But I hope you're not that impatient. So the setup for me, the first place that I start with this is in my house when I grew up. And again, I'm older than most of you guys. So in my house, we only had like a landline phone. So that's kind of how it was. And actually going back in my parents' life, they had several people that they didn't even have phones. I mean, and I went to my parents' neighborhood, and there were at times when I was like 10 or something, there were several people in that neighborhood that they didn't have phones. I mean, I don't know, that was 40 something years ago. They didn't even have phones in the house. So we didn't have a phone in our house, but one of the things Dad taught me, like really serious, was, control the phone. And Dad, like, would not answer the phone. Like, he wasn't going to just answer the phone all the time. Like, he wasn't really, he'd pull the phone out off the hook, he'd pull it off the hook so it wouldn't ring, because he, it was his device and he was going to control it. So, I mean, early on, that was like the mindset that I came to the party from, the party of life, which is those are your devices. You're paying the money. You control the devices. So I just came from that place from the beginning. A quick side story, like I said, I'm setting up, was, that's how Dad was. Dad really wasn't trying to be on the phone in the evening anyway. So many times he would unhook the phone. So one time I got in some massive trouble at school. And I knew I was going to get suspended. It just was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I shouldn't do this to glamorize any negative, but I'm just sharing a part of me. So I'm not really glamorizing. So, what am I going to do? I mean, you might as well say, I guess at that time, you might as well say I might have already had the addict mentality. So let's just go ahead and avoid this situation. That's what addicts do. So yeah, I'm going to avoid it. So I went outside and went to the box of the phone and pulled the plug out of the phone. And needless to say, I bought me a day, which is like what addicts like to do, is to buy a day to avoid. That's why they tell all these lies to avoid. But that of what you avoid eventually confronts you. And of course, lo and behold, this confronted me. And my dad got called at work to come pick me up at school. We tried to call you, Mr. Price, but we couldn't reach you. I'm sitting there trying not to laugh, of course, because I know why they couldn't reach him. So anyway, that's like my paradigm about phones and when the computers came on and any other electronic device. It was really, I own these devices, right? And I come from that device. This is my device. Don't text me and expect me to respond to you immediately. I mean, did you pay my phone bill? If you didn't pay my phone bill, don't expect me to respond to your text. Don't expect me to pick up your phone. Call. I mean, if I made a promise to you, that's a different story. But if I didn't, no, it's my, just that was the mentality that I always got. So my phone use really never ever got to a disorder for me. Slightly, but not really. And even my porn use wasn't too much on the phone until the end. And even as I was beginning like to help men, because I wasn't that way, I couldn't understand when they would be working with couples and such, and they would have rules like, you can't take the phone into the bathroom. I didn't understand that at first, but now I do. Now I understand that guys take their phone in the bathroom and they tell their wives that they have diarrhea, and then they go in the bathroom for 45 minutes. And because of the fact that they're porn addicts, they're not really thinking so well. So then they come back downstairs and they go on about their business, cooling the gang, shall we say, watch a football game or whatever they were going to do. Well, lo and behold, back at the ranch, the wife, she was, golly, I feel so bad for the guy. I feel so bad for the fella. He's been up in the bathroom for like 40 minutes. Gee whiz, golly, he said he's got diarrhea. Oh, wow. He must have really had a good butt orgasm up in there. So, yeah. And then she goes upstairs and then the bathroom smells like powder, like it definitely doesn't smell. It definitely does not smell like poop. And she already knows what the guy's doing. So anyway, we'll get to the damages that porn does to your woman at some other point in time. We can't deal with that on this particular session. So we're focusing specifically on phone disorder and phone disuse. So I don't mean to boast. I don't like to boast. I really don't like to boast. Boasting is not really something that I do, especially in this context, because I don't like to do it. One, I think I said that like 5 times. It's not helpful to you. It's not helpful to you for me to boast about anything because everybody's in a different place in their journey. So me boasting about where I am in my journey and you're in a different place, I mean, it's not encouraging if I use it in the wrong way. So I'm not, I don't want to ever boast about anything, but I do want to share victories so that at some point you can embrace those victories one day. This has nothing to do with a deliberate desire to impress you today in any way, shape, or form, but it is just a fact. I said that I woke up rather early, and however it went, I woke up like at 3:30. It's 9:42 right now, and the only reason why I touched this phone today was to turn the volume down because I know I was going to do podcasts. In other words, I haven't opened this phone today at all. And it's where I'm 6 hours into my day. Now, I don't expect you to do that. So for starters, right off the gate, what do I expect you to do? Like if you really want to win, I expect you to leave that phone alone for at least an hour to start out. Okay. And I also acknowledge that that might be a little bit challenging for you at first. And it might be a little bit challenging for you at first because of the way that you behave. So I'm not even going to ask you to right out of the gate to go to the hour anyway. I'm going to ask that you work yourself up to it. Don't touch the phone for 15 minutes. Don't then make it 30 minutes, then make it 45 minutes, and then make it an hour at a pace that you feel comfortable with. Good pace would maybe be make the adjustments every 4 days. If you wanted to rapidly do it, 4 days that's a good pace to bring it down in 15-minute increments so that it's comfortable for you. And that's also a good place a good frame of thought to anything that you're doing as we do this journey, because that's one of the things that you haven't done. And that's one of the things that's missing in your recovery journey is that you don't want to keep doing the little things consistently that will help you because you don't see the results. And one of the little things that you can do that you probably won't see any results on immediately is not use the phone. But eventually you will. And what you can do in that hour to help you out is to do what I call growth hour. We evolved to that with different clients, just to have a word that was supportive. Other words that we came up with, other words people came up with, weren't necessarily empowering. So I'll just leave it at that. Call it your growth hour. And in that growth hour, take that time, listen to these kinds of podcasts, get in your journal, get in your Bible, be about the business of porn recovery for about an hour. All right. And I think, put that. I encourage people from day one, like porn recovery, porn addiction recovery is really a time. It's a time of life reckoning. And with that life reckoning, then it means that you're going to be a different person. And with that different person, it inherently means that you're going to put in some work. And with that, at first, you're going to have to put in work to transform the porn habit. But after that, you're going to take that same time and then you're going to put in the work to become a better person. We're not looking for any time that you don't have because we already established that you got 25 to 7,500 hours worked into having the addiction that you have. I've done little short videos on the side where people are gooning, where they pull their penis out and look at their penis for 2 hours at a time. People are clocking 40 and 80 hours a month of just looking at their member. And you mean to tell me that you don't have time to read a book? Come on, man. Come on. Get off that goofiness, please. Okay. Yeah. So dad, in a word, dad used to say that, and this is the thing that he really impressed upon me is that those devices are tools and not toys. And I think a lot of people, no one really told us about how to handle the phone. A lot of people think that the phone is a toy and they behave with it as such. And quite frankly, I'm not going to be trying to step on any toes, but I'm going to keep it real because I've seen some of the behavior of parents and some of the bad phone etiquette with cell phones and the bad habits of cell phones people pick up from their parents. It's just some real goofiness that goes on. So actually, I'm going to stop it right there. I think as promised. I'm going to stop right there. There's nothing else that I'm going to leave there. Please like us. Please subscribe. If you need anything, leave a message. Email me, coachj2020@gmail.com. coachj2020@gmail.com. I'm here to help you in any way, shape, or form. I know a lot of therapists. I know all kinds of people that are professionals. I know some courses. I know courses you can pay a lot for, courses you can pay a minimum amount for. All kinds of courses. My wife is calling me to get breakfast, so I think it's about time for me to leave. So we're going to pick it up after breakfast. Until then, till we see you next time, drive with care, walk with caution. You matter. This journey matters. It is a journey, one day at a time, one step at a time. You're reversing 2,500 hours that you have invested into your derogatory habit. Give yourself some time. Put in the work. You've invested work in developing the habit. Invest some work in getting rid of the habit. One of the things that's so vital for anybody that's a porn addict, sex addict, former porn addict, sex addict, is connection. Because connection is the opposite of addiction. So connect with two people today. Get yourself 2 wins. Exercise is good. If you're not exercising, exercise. Have exercise be your keystone habit. We'll talk about that in the next session. Until next time, God bless you. Drive with care and walk with caution. Thank you.